Welcome back to another video, everyone. This video is going to be slightly different. I'm doing a trade recap, and I want to start doing these a little more often on the channel so you guys can see the exact trades I'm taking. But this trade I'm going to be talking about in particular is from Friday, where I caught a 1-2 and I made $2,000. So let's just go ahead and get right into the breakdown. So one of the things I'm looking at first is red folder news. I want to see what type of high impact news we have for that day. Now on Friday, we only had one thing of red folder news, and that was at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So before I even get on to trade, it already happened, which is perfectly fine with me. Now, this is the 1-2 that I caught that made me $2,000. Before I talk about this, I want to talk about this level up here. This level is very important. This is what gave us an initial rejection all the way to the downside, which gave us our entry. Now, these black lines you see are going to be levels of supply and levels of demand. These three are levels of supply. We have the H1, M15, and H4. And I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the exact way that I marked them. The H1 is right here. Notice this previous contrary candle to the push. This is how we mark it. For supply, you're marking the lowest point of the candle. For demand, you're marking the highest point. So we went ahead and marked H1 right here because that is our H1 level of supply. For M15, this was the M15 previous contrary candle. So I went ahead and marked M15 right there. And then for H4, this is the H4 previous contrary candle. So I went ahead and marked H4 right there. Now going back to the M15 time frame, look how clean we rejected from these levels. Now this arrow right here is because I was expecting an H4 rejection. Honestly, I didn't think we were even going to approach that M15 H1, but you can see we did. We pushed right past that H4, and the M15 and H1 is what gave us that rejection that we needed. This is why multiple time frames and confluence is key, because if one level gets pushed past, there's multiple levels for it to reverse and go back your way. So as you can see, like I mentioned, we pushed past the H4. That M15 and H1 gave us a perfect rejection. Notice how we just tapped right into that level, and then we started coming down, and we went all the way down to this level, and bearish momentum was coming in very clean. Nothing too crazy, but pretty clean. So let's go talk about these levels down here. Now, this is the level where I made $2,000 like I mentioned. So these black lines are levels of demand. So the entry was off this H1 level of demand, and then you can see we have the M1, M5, M15, and H4 level of demand in confluence as well. So 5 time frames in confluence. This is definitely a high probability setup for me. Now I'm going to show you guys the exact way that I marked it as well. So this previous contrary candle before the push up is an H1 level of demand. So I went ahead and marked that. And then you can see the next one is an M5. So let's go ahead and show you the M5. This M5 previous contrary candle to the push up. M1, let's go ahead and look at the M1. Here's that M1 previous contrary candle that I went ahead and marked out. Next one would be the M15. This is the M15 previous contrary candle, so I went ahead and marked the top. Last but not least is the H4 level of demand, and you can see that is right here, and I went ahead and marked it out. So like I mentioned, 5 time frames in confluence, pretty high probability setup for me. Now let's zoom into this. Look how clean the entry was. We tapped right into it and then got enough momentum and went to the upside. Let me show you this on the M1 time frame. Look at this, tapped right into it, and the only way I enter trades is with a limit order. So right when it hits that limit order, I'm automatically in. I don't enter off market orders. I only like to enter off limit orders. I like to spot these levels before they even happen, set the limit order, let the market do its thing, and if it hits my limit order, I'm in. If it doesn't, then I'll stay cash and wait for the next opportunity. So like I said, we tapped right into it, got enough momentum, flipped, went to a TP1. Now, normally when I hit TP1, I'm either getting fully out or I'm trimming or I'm moving stop loss to break even. In this case, I did not move my stop loss to break even. I kept it at the same level because I really wanted to see this go to a TP2. So I didn't move my stop loss to break even. And you can see I did get a TP2 out of this, but it's after I got a very clean entry. We went up, almost hit TP2, came back down, tapped right into break even, and then you can see we got a very nice move to the upside right after that, which ended up securing me the $2,000. But this is all the trade was. all it was is levels of supply and levels of demand, and then looking at price action. So we had our level of supply right up here. We got a very clean rejection. Price was looking very, very good. Coming in bearish, but nothing too crazy where I was worried about us just pushing straight through this level. Especially this type of candle in the M5. I like how we had a little bounce and then started to go lower. So it kind of slowed momentum a little bit before it hit our level. And then you could see we came, grabbed these wicks right here, tapped right into our entry, and the rest is history. The entry cannot really get much more cleaner than this. I mean, look at this. Barely took any drawdown. On Dow, my stop loss is 40 points. My TP1 is 40 points. So I caught 80 points on this setup since I caught a 1 to 2. And you can see I only took that little bit of drawdown. That little bit of drawdown, and I took a profit at 80 points. So you cannot beat that. And when you have 5 time frames in Confluence, this is definitely a high probability setup for me. So we had no red folder news that was going to interfere with us. A valid level of supply had a beautiful rejection off of it. And then I had a setup with 5 time frames in Confluence. That was a high probability setup all day for me, and I did take that. Now, I wasn't in this trade long. You can see I got in right around 1050, and I got out right around 1119. So nothing too crazy. I did take this trade after I got off the live session with the team because we got off at 10:30, and I still had my limit order sitting here waiting for the setup until 11. And you can see at 10:50, it definitely hit. But I wish I did catch us live with the team. But like I said, we hopped off at 10:30. So, and I tell the team all the time, you can either keep your limit orders pending if you want, or you can delete them. I normally just keep mine pending until 11 if we're getting pretty close to that setup, or if it's a very high probability setup. But that was the trade from Friday where I made $2,000. I just wanted to do a quick recap, like I said, and I'm probably going to be dropping some more videos like this pretty often on the channel. So if you guys liked it, make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe. If you want to follow me on Instagram, follow me at OAlexZ. And if you want to trade live with me, click the link in the description or click the link in the bio, and I'll see you there. Peace out.